Hi, how are you guys doing? My name is Masai with Paradigm Youth and College Ministry, and for this week we're going to be talking about focus. And of course, by focus I don't mean deep concentration or deep meditation, but focus in the sense of living out this pure and holy and righteous lifestyle in which God has called us to live. And so for that to happen, I think focus plays an important role. Recently I've picked up on photography, and so I'll go around taking pictures of things that have just kind of captured my eyes. And so this week I was in Las Vegas, and so I was taking a lot of pictures of different things. And so sometimes the object I'm trying to take a picture of is a distance away, and so I would have to zoom in into the object, but just because I've zoomed in, it doesn't mean I'm going to get the quality of picture of the object that I want. And so what I would have to do is zoom in, but at the same time focus. And so in our spiritual walk with God, it doesn't mean that we just got to be zoomed in, but we've also got to be focused, because focus plays an important role. I get people all the time in our youth or college ministries or different places that I've gone to speak at, people telling me, you need to talk to the audience about drugs or about sex or about this, not to do this, not to go there, and so on. And I would always have one answer to all of them. And I know their suggestion is great, and they've got great concerns for their audience or for their people or for their parents, for their kids. But at the same time, for me, what I want to focus on is not trying to tell the audience what not to do, but I want to focus on what to do. Because I am convinced that if you and I stay busy doing the things we're supposed to do, the things we're not supposed to do will take care of itself. And so I'm just fully convinced that if I just fall deeply in love with Jesus and everything he is and what he stands for, the things I'm not supposed to do would take care of itself. And so I don't want to go around telling people don't do this, don't do that, don't do this, but I want to go around telling people this is what you need to do, this is the life you need to live. And so as you focus on doing the things you're supposed to do, the things you're not supposed to do would take care of itself. And so for that, I'm sure somebody's going to ask, where's the scriptural backing for that? And so I want you to flip your Bible and go to, if you've got it, great. If not, I'll read it out loud for you. But it's from 2 Samuel chapter 11. I'm not going to go through all of it, but I'll just read a couple of the paragraphs, and then I'll paraphrase the rest. It started off by saying, in the spring, at a time when kings go off to war, David sent Joab out with the king's men and the whole Israelite army. They destroyed the Amorites and besieged Rabbah, but David remained in Jerusalem. An important verse. On one evening, David got up from his bed and walked around the roof of the palace. From the roof, he saw a woman bathing. The woman was very beautiful, and David sent someone to find out about her. The man said, "Isn't this Bathsheba, the daughter of Eliam, and the wife of Uriah the Hittite?" Then David sent a message to get her. So David did this after knowing who she belonged to. And so verse 4 says, then David sent messengers to go get her. She came to him, and he slept with her. She had purified herself from her uncleanness. Then she went back home. In verse 5 it says, the woman conceived and sent word to David saying, I am pregnant. And of course David, trying to cover up what he just did, what he did is he gets her husband killed. And that was just a dark stain in David's life. But the question is, how did he get there? You see, in the story, I'm so blown away, and sometimes we miss this line of the verse. I'm so blown away. It starts off by saying, in a year kings go off to war, David stayed home. You see, it was the king's responsibility to lead the army into the battlefield. But David stayed home because this was just a siege. So he figured, I'm a king. I don't need to go out there and battling for this thing. This is just a siege. My men could handle this. And so though he was supposed to be leading his army to battle, he stayed home, and he said somebody else to go take care of what he should have taken care of. And so in return, because he wasn't doing what he was supposed to do, in return he stayed home and saw something that he should not have seen. And because he saw something that he should not have seen, he ended up doing what he shouldn't have done. But see, all of that stuff could have been removed had David just concentrated and focused on the things he's supposed to do. And so what is the message in that? If you and I just stay busy doing the things we're supposed to do, the things we're not supposed to do will take care of itself. And so if you've got a habit or things in your life you're just trying to get rid of, it's great to analyze what needs to be removed from your life. That's good. But at the same time, you really need to understand, why are you giving that up? And so if you've got some habits you're trying to break, don't just program yourself, all right, I'm not going to do this, I'm not going to do that, but instead focus yourself into the things you're supposed to do. And as you do, the things that you're not supposed to do would start dying. And so somebody would ask, how did you break that habit? You would just say, I have no idea. I just keep falling in love with Jesus and doing the things that he told me to do and living out the life he wanted me to live. And as I got busy with that, the things that I didn't want to live like, or I didn't want to do, it just took care of itself. And so that's the beauty of it. You know, when I was in college, I had a dog. His name was Simba, because I loved The Lion King. You know, I recently, when I was in Vegas, saw The Lion King, which was a phenomenal show, spectacular show. And so if you've never seen it, please go see it. But anyways, and my dog, you know, when he was a puppy, about 2 months or so, I would take him out into the yard so that he could, you know, do the number 1 or number 2 or a combination of both. And so when I take him out and I close the door and I'll go back in, he would just start scratching on the door, you know, you go crazy. And so I had no idea why he was so scared to be out, and he was a puppy. And so what I would have to do is go stand with him until, you know, he does what he has to do. And I noticed the reason he was so scared to be out by himself is because there's a cat that he's just scared of. And this is just a neighborhood cat that used to just come into our yard. And so eventually Simba started getting bigger, and Simba is a Labrador, and so he started getting big and big and big. By the time he got to be about 40, 50 pounds, and he's mature, he couldn't wait to go into the, you know, the yard and do whatever it is that he wanted to do. He was no longer intimidated by that cat. You know why? Because Simba started growing, and he realized, this is my domain, this is my territory, and so I'm not scared to be in this environment. And so why? Because Simba started growing. And so the reason I'm telling you to focus on doing the things you're supposed to do is when you do that, that's when you start growing. And as you grow, the things that battle you, the things that was trying to drown you, they no longer become an issue for you because you've just grown, you've just matured. And so when you start focusing on the things you're supposed to do, that's what happens. You start growing. And when you start growing, man, your problems start becoming so small, they no longer become a great temptation for you. And so had David just stayed busy doing the things he's supposed to do, the things he's not supposed to do have taken care of itself. And so I hope that was a blessing to you. If these video messages and video blogs have been a blessing to you, and we've got a website, and I'm sure you'll look at it on the bottom of the video, and also we've got a Facebook page, and so, you know, become a fan of it or invite people that you think would benefit from it. Other than that, I hope you have a wonderful week. See you next week. God bless you guys. See ya.
Come on. I was driving in my car last night, radio up and came to a stoplight. Had a man who came up to my window and asked for $1 cause he was in a tight jam.